Okay guys, so I'm back. I removed all the shine off of all of my nails. The next step you want to do is you want to take another piece of paper towel and your alcohol. And again, you want to clean all the debris off your fingernails. You want to do this just like you did the first time. You want to do this twice to make sure that all of the debris is off your fingers. Alright, from around your cuticle, from the lip on the tip where the tip meets the natural nail. Alright. Now some ladies I know like to use line away on the tip. I don't feel that's necessary because I'm laying acrylic over top of it. If I was going to do a silk wrap on this nail, I would definitely use line out across the top, or even a little bit of your monomer would work. Or acetone even, because it will melt the tip to your natural nail a little bit. But I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you my process for doing my acrylics. Okay, guys? I'm using Diva DC monomer. Okay? I'm using Diva DC clear acrylic to start. I'm not going to do a pink nail bed today. I'm doing clear. My brush is a Kolinsky size 8. This is, I believe, the NSI brush. It was a gift from a friend. And so that's the one I'm going to be using today. Let me see if I can show you guys the brush. It is a crimped round brush, okay? So this is a round brush, and it's crimped, so when I flatten it, it will fan out, okay? I'm not sure if you guys can see how that's working there. I don't want to definitely touch that, but okay. Now, in order to get all the bubbles out of your brush, you need to submerge your entire brush and flatten it on the bottom of your dish. I do this both ways just to make sure that I get all the bubbles out, and then I bring it up and I squeeze the liquid out. And I do that a few times actually to make sure that my brush is really saturated. Okay, once I do that, I will roll it across and twist to bring it to a point. Okay, and that's how I like to start. Now I'm left-handed, so I'm going to show you with my left hand using the brush on this finger here how I go ahead and apply my first layer of acrylic and stuff. I also have two mixes that I'm going to be using today. This one is my 7-Up Love, and this one is my Pink Lady. So I am going to be using some glitters on here today. But the first step is the Band-Aid. Again with the pH balancer, because again it dehydrates the natural nail. You do not need to go over the plastic tip. You just want to make sure that you especially get up around the cuticle with this. Another tip that I can give you guys is try not to touch the primers or the dehydrators to your skin. The more you touch the skin, the more likely you could have a reaction to it. Okay? Now, for somebody who's never done acrylics, I suggest doing a skin test with your primers first, because touch the inside of your wrist with the primer and wait 24 hours. If you don't have a reaction, chances are you'll be okay. If you have any kind of reaction, I would suggest that you don't do acrylics. You could be severely allergic to them, and I've seen women lose their entire fingernails and have deformities afterward, one allergic reaction. So, with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my primer. You only need one small coat of primer. You do not need 55 coats of primer. Primer spreads. Okay, this again is like a chain link fence. You lay it down and it spreads itself over the nail bed. You do not want to touch the cuticle area, or I'm sorry, it's not the cuticle, it's the epinecium, the high point of your finger here. That's live skin. You don't want to touch that with this, okay? So I'm using my primer, and now my finger is ready. I'm going to dip my brush in my monomer, and I'm going to pick up a bead of my polymer. The bead is going to come to consistency, and I usually start right at the smile line. Okay? I'm going to press this down and then I'm going to drag it. Okay? The reason this is because I do not want some bulky fingernails. I want to make this as thin as possible. First of all, because I am going to be adding some glitters to it. Second of all, because the thicker it is, the more chances of it lifting, honestly. The bulkier it is, the more trouble you're going to have with it. I put it on, I basically just pull. Cleaning my brush every single time. I hope that you guys are able to see this because it's not easy to do this on camera. Okay, and then the last step I do, sometimes I use only one bead. I mean, honestly, if I make my bead big enough, I don't feel like I need 55 beads of acrylic. I'm just basically laying down a base so that when I file off my glitters in a week from now or 2 weeks, whenever I decide to change my design, I have a base to get down to. Okay? So now I have my base clear coat. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my pink. And I'm just going to take a very little bit of my mix here. And I'm going to work it across the tip of my nail. And then I'm going to take the other mix, and that's going to go basically faded on top and above it. I'm not doing a perfect smile line, I'm just kind of fading it in and spreading it out. I don't want it to be overly thick or overly consumed by glitter today. Shockingly. Then I'm just going to fan it down over the pink a little bit. Okay, so there you have it. And the last step that I like to do, is I like to get a really wet ball, a fairly large wet ball of acrylic, press it into the middle, make sure that it's really, really moist, and just pull it over top of everything. That'll give me what I call my filing layer. As you notice, I am not going too far up to the cuticle with this, or towards the skin up there, because I don't want it to be thick at that area. I don't really want it to be thick everywhere, but especially not in that area. Okay, guys, the reason why I get my ball really, really wet is because that very top layer, you don't want to have to do a shit ton of filing. I'm sorry for my language, but it's true. I don't know anybody who wants to file and file and file and file. If you look at this nail, I'm not sure if you can see, but it is not that thick at all. It's right there is the edge and there's the tip, okay? So, I don't know of a good way to show this to you. It's really difficult. It's not that thick at all. So when I file, I don't want to have to be filing. I just basically want to shape, buff, and shine. So I'm going to show you that part next as soon as this dries. So I'll be right back.